So you're trying to cut through all the noise, right? And really get a handle on something significant.
Yeah, something that gives you a bit more perspective, maybe sparks some thought, but without, you know, drowning in information.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what we're aiming for with this deep dive today.
We take something fairly substantial, and together we try to pull out the core ideas, the parts that really shine a light on it.
And today's subject is, well, it's a bit different. It's fascinating, though. We're not looking at a real event.
No, instead we're diving into this really detailed, imagined review of a hypothetical movie.
Right. A film supposedly coming out in 2025 called Sinners. And it's imagined as being directed by Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan.
Which is quite a unique setup, isn't it?
Mm.
Analyzing a film that only exists in this 5,000-word review.
It really is.
But, you know, even as an imagined thing, the review outlines some potentially rich cinematic themes, stuff worth talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, this review apparently gets right into it. The potential story, the characters, Coogler's direction, the themes.
The whole package, really.
Yeah. So our mission here is to kind of extract the most compelling bits from this imagined Sinners.
Give you a solid feel for what its impact could be and the kinds of questions it might raise.
Okay, so let's get into it. Starting with the story itself. This imagined review, it pictures Sinners as being about people dealing with troubled pasts.
Right, trying to find some kind of redemption.
And what jumps out is a variety of settings the review imagines. Gritty cityscapes, maybe isolated rural areas, even places like prisons or halfway houses.
Yeah, and it suggests these places aren't just like backgrounds.
No, they actively shape the characters' journeys.
That's a really key point, I think. How the environment itself can amplify what's going on inside someone.
Totally.
The review hints at that, suggesting the film might have this raw, realistic vibe, maybe a bit melancholic, or maybe a constant underlying tension.
It sounds like the kind of film that wouldn't pull punches, you know? Exploring the difficult stuff.
The messy choices people make, yeah. And the basic plot, according to the review, involves some central conflict pushing these characters.
Could be personal, like someone battling their own history.
Or maybe a shared moral problem they have to face.
Oh.
Or just that hard road towards forgiveness, perhaps.
And, you know, for anyone listening, that internal struggle is pretty relatable, isn't it?
Definitely.
The review maps out the expected plot, beats the thing that kicks it off, the rising action, the climax, how it wraps up.
But it also mentions the possibility of a more deliberate pace.
Right. Focusing more on the characters' inner worlds, maybe? Not just nonstop action.
Which makes you wonder what that kind of slower burn might reveal, you know?
Yeah, it could really let things breathe.
And that slower pace would probably make room for subplots, too.
Yeah.
And for developing those relationships the review mentions.
Which are always crucial. People rarely go through big changes alone, do they?
Exactly. These other stories, these connections, they can really deepen the main themes.
Like maybe a new relationship helps someone trying to make amends. Or maybe it makes things even harder.
Right. The review also touches on potential plot twists.
Oh, yeah.
And the interesting thing isn't just the surprise, but the idea that these twists might force us, the audience, to, like, reevaluate the characters.
Ah, so they serve the story's themes, add another layer.
That seems to be the suggestion.
And then there's the ending. How does it all resolve? The review stresses that the climax needs to feel well-earned.
Emotionally satisfying, yeah, and thematically resonant.
And for the actual resolution, the review hints it might not be simple, could be hopeful, maybe tragic.
Or maybe just ambiguous.
Yeah.
Leaves you thinking.
The kind that sticks with you.
Yeah. The review even briefly floats the idea of maybe some narrative tricks, like nonlinear storytelling.
Or seeing things from different characters' viewpoints.
Possibly. If the imagined film did something like that, it could offer a really complex look at the whole redemption idea.
Okay, so that's the potential story structure. But films really live or die by their characters, don't they?
Absolutely. And with Michael B. Jordan potentially leading, the review expects a lot of complexity there.
It talks about seeing his character's motivations, his flaws, his strengths.
You know, thinking about Jordan's past work, the intensity he brings.
Oh, yeah.
The review suggests he'd really lean into that, showing deep inner turmoil, a character going through a major transformation.
So a real character arc, not just static.
Exactly. Someone evolving, grappling with their past, trying to find a different future. That seems to be the core.
And it's not just him. The review mentions supporting characters, too. Even specifically Miles Caton as potentially part of the ensemble.
Right, and these supporting roles could be crucial, maybe acting as foils, showing different paths.
Or catalysts, pushing the main character towards a decision.
Yeah, imagine a supporting character who seems to have found peace, or maybe one who's gone the other way entirely.
Mm.
How does that reflect on the protagonist?
And for the audience, those relationships on screen need to feel real, don't they?
Definitely. Believable, engaging. They have to feed into the film's big ideas.
How do these supposed sinners interact? Do they help each other, hurt each other, find understanding?
Ultimately, the review sounds hopeful that the film would create really well-rounded, memorable characters, people whose journeys connect with you.
So we have the story, the people.
Mm.
What about how it looks and feels? Ryan Coogler's direction is obviously huge here.
Yeah, the review brings up his previous films, like Fruitvale Station, Black Panther.
His knack for atmosphere, for tension, for hitting those emotional beats.
Right, and it makes you wonder how his known style might fit, or maybe even clash, interestingly, with a title like Sinners and these heavy themes.
It's fascinating to think about the visual style. The review wonders, would it be gritty, kind of documentary-like?
Or more stylized, visually bold.
And for anyone watching, think how much visuals affect your experience. Camera angles, light, color, they all tell a story.
Knowing Coogler, like how he used close-ups in Fruitvale Station to show inner struggle.
Right. The review might have suggested similar techniques could really amplify the redemption theme in Sinners.
And then there's editing, pacing, hugely important.
Would it be fast cut, energetic, or more slow, contemplative?
The review discusses both possibilities. How scenes are put together, the rhythm. It massively impacts how you connect emotionally.
A slower pace could really let you sit with the character's discomfort, couldn't it? Their internal battles.
For sure. And you can't talk style without sound. Music.
Ah, yes. The review specifically mentions Ludwig Göransson, who often works with Coogler.
His scores are so good at creating atmosphere, heightening emotion.
Just imagining what his music might sound like for this story. It's pretty powerful.
And not just the score, but the whole sound design. Ambient sounds, effects.
Yeah.
They build the world.
Which brings us right to the core, really. The themes this imagined film might tackle.
Morality and ethics seem central, according to the review.
And it makes a great point about maybe not having clear heroes and villains.
Yeah, just complex people making tough choices in messy situations. Moral ambiguity.
The ethical tightropes they walk, that would likely be a major focus.
And the review also wonders, would the film give easy answers? Or would it leave you wrestling with questions of right and wrong?
Makes you think about films you've seen like that, doesn't it? Characters who are neither purely good nor bad.
Exactly. And then, obviously, there's redemption. It's right there in the hypothetical title, almost.
Would these characters actively try to atone? Is redemption even possible for them?
And forgiveness comes into play too, right? Giving it, receiving it. How vital is that?
How do you forgive yourself? How do you accept it from others if you feel you don't deserve it?
Interestingly, the review hints redemption might not just be about society forgiving you. Maybe it's more internal.
Ah, like a personal reckoning, a more solitary journey, perhaps.
That's a possibility it raises. The review also considers faith, spirituality.
Would those play a role? Comfort, conflict, guidance.
And if it depicted religious institutions or beliefs, how would they intersect with sin and redemption?
It's interesting how personal beliefs shape our understanding of all this.
Yeah, and for the listener, that focus on internal struggle, on belief, might really resonate.
Finally, the review mentions potential social commentary.
Right. Would Sinners touch on bigger issues? Race, class, injustice.
And how? Subtly woven in or more upfront?
Always interesting when personal stories reflect those broader societal things.
So wrapping this all up, our deep dive into this imagined review, it sketches out a potentially really powerful, thoughtful film.
Yeah, it seems like it would aim to explore the messy bits of morality, the tough road to redemption.
Through compelling characters, brought to life by Jordan, directed by Coogler.
All wrapped up in potentially quite a raw and resonant cinematic package.
And, for everyone listening, thinking about these themes, morality, redemption, forgiveness, these aren't just movie ideas.
No, they're deeply human.
Yeah.
Relevant to all of us.
Even exploring a fictional film like this through this kind of detailed projection, it can give us insights into real life, real choices.
Which kind of leaves us with a big question to chew on, doesn't it? What does redemption actually mean to you? Is it a final destination you arrive at?
Or more like an ongoing process, always striving.
Yeah. And how do we decide who deserves forgiveness, both as individuals and, well, as a society?
Maybe thinking about this imagined sinners helps us reflect on those enduring questions in our own lives and in the stories we encounter everywhere.